Today is Wednesday, August 23rd. What to know about the first presidential debate of the 2024 election season happening today. And just as California recovers from a tropical storm, Texas has been dealing with its own. Also, why leaders in those two states are sparring again. Plus, mask mandates coming back, why airport runway safety is top of mind again, and Messi Mania, what the star soccer player has done for U.S. ticket sales, and more. Those stories and more news in today's episode. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. It's voters' first chance to watch 2024 presidential candidates discuss some of the most pressing issues the U.S. is facing. The Republican National Committee is putting on tonight's first debate of the primary season in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And 8 candidates have qualified to take the stage. They are Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former Vice President Mike Pence, U.S. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, current North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy. Remember, the clear frontrunner in early polls, former President Trump, has decided to skip the debate, even though he could have easily qualified. To earn their spots, the RNC required candidates to get at least 40,000 individual donors and register at least 1% in 3 national polls. The candidates also had to sign a pledge to back the eventual winner of the GOP primary, no matter who it ends up being. Tonight's debate will air on Fox News from 9 to 11 Eastern. It will be moderated by Fox anchors Bret Baier and Martha McCallum. By the way, at last check, the Democratic Party is not planning any primary debates, and the DNC is united behind President Biden as the candidate. It seems the divide between Texas Republicans and California Democrats is growing deeper. Most recently, it was Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass to condemn Texas Governor Greg Abbott. She's upset because Abbott transported a busload of migrant families, including some young children, to Los Angeles while it was preparing for an unprecedented tropical storm. And when the bus arrived on Monday evening, the city was still assessing the damage. It's a move Bass called evil, saying it endangered the lives of vulnerable migrants. Though Governor Abbott's office defended the move, saying all the migrants went to LA willingly and that bus drivers receive updated weather conditions along their routes. In the end, no one was hurt. And that was actually the 9th bus Texas has sent to Los Angeles since June. And both Texas and Florida have sent many more buses with tens of thousands of migrants to other Democrat-led cities like New York City, Chicago, Denver, and Washington, D.C. Remember, the idea is to help give relief to border cities that are overwhelmed by sending migrants to so-called sanctuary jurisdictions around the country that limit cooperation with immigration enforcement officials. And despite some recent backlash, the program is expected to continue. Well, Texas got hit with its own tropical storm this week, but thankfully, no severe damage or injuries have been reported as of this morning. Tropical Storm Harold made landfall on Texas's Padre Island, bringing strong winds and heavy rain to South Texas and northern Mexico. The storms knocked out power to tens of thousands of Texans and caused some flash flooding. There's still some rain falling this morning, but the worst seems to be over as Harold has since weakened to a tropical depression. And later today, it's expected to break apart entirely. Now, the storm was actually a welcome sight for many Texans who have been dealing with one of their hottest, driest summers on record. In fact, Corpus Christi recorded more rain in just a few hours than it has the entire summer. That said, the areas of the hottest, driest Texas weather missed out on that rain, and a historic heat wave is expected to continue today. As COVID-19 cases are rising in parts of the U.S., some mask mandates are coming back. For example, on the East Coast, Morris Brown College in Atlanta announced all students, faculty, and staff will have to wear a mask on campus for the next 2 weeks because of reports of students testing positive. Rutgers and Georgetown will also still require masks for people when they're indoors. And more than 100 other schools say students will need to be vaccinated against COVID-19 to attend in-person classes. Meanwhile, on the West Coast this week, the Hollywood studio Lionsgate is bringing back mask mandates for employees to wear most of the time because of rising COVID cases in LA. Nationwide, the latest CDC data says the number of hospital admissions for COVID-19 has gone up by nearly 13% over the past week. But keep in mind, the numbers are still well below levels reported during the peak of the pandemic. And even the CDC says at this point, the public health emergency is considered over. We have much more news for you still coming up. But first, support for today's episode comes from Honeylove. If you want to look and feel better in your clothes, Honeylove has the best shapewear. And now I'm learning they also have the best leggings. Yes, I just got their Legging 2.0 and I'm pretty obsessed. The material is super smooth and soft. You'll feel the difference right out of the box. Plus, they perfectly hug my body with hidden shaping panels, making me feel more confident. And yet they're still really comfortable and easy to move around in. I even love these side pockets they have. They add zero bulk to my legs, but still give me that option for convenience so I can put my ID or phone in there if I need to. And the shear-proof fabric ensures I don't have to worry in the middle of yoga class. I highly recommend these leggings. And as I've mentioned before, Honeylove is also the go-to for shapewear. It's sculptwear that is actually comfortable. They're surprisingly easy to take on and off, and they help make all my clothes hang just right. So treat yourself to the best shapewear and the best leggings on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Again, use our exclusive link to get 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Well, some of the top aviation officials in the country are going to start meeting to tackle a troubling new trend. A recent New York Times investigation found airline close calls are happening far more often than are even reported. And FAA data shows near-miss accidents have increased nearly 25% in the last decade. So the FAA has set up runway safety meetings at 90 major American airports over the next few weeks. The meetings will include FAA reps, airlines, pilots, airport vehicle drivers, and others. The idea is to figure out what risks exist at airports and to develop plans to tackle those risks. In the meantime, more than $100 million is already being invested in a dozen airports around the country. And the FAA says the U.S. aviation system is still the safest in the world, but that it's just going to be working to get even better and have zero serious close calls in the future. What looks like a big strike that could have delayed shipping and sent costs soaring was just officially avoided. Workers at UPS ratified a new 5-year, $30 billion contract this week, and it's reportedly the largest collective bargaining agreement in the private sector. The deal raises pay, adds air conditioning to new models of the company's signature brown trucks, ends forced overtime, and more. And this is a big deal since UPS is the world's largest package delivery company that handles about a quarter of all American parcel deliveries. So a strike could have had a huge impact on supply chains. But now, UPS says the new agreement addresses the concerns of workers, shareholders, and the company. There have been other union wins this week as well. For example, American Airlines pilots ratified a new contract that would boost pay by more than 40% over 4 years. Delta and United pilots have also approved richer deals. On the other hand, FedEx pilots still could go on strike since their negotiations are at a standstill. And there's also the possibility of Detroit automakers going on strike when the United Auto Workers Union's contract expires next month. So, to be continued. Meta says it has a new tool that can translate languages more easily than anything else out there. The company released Seamless M4T yesterday, and it's powered by artificial intelligence. It can apparently quickly and efficiently understand speech for nearly 100 languages and can translate your spoken words or your text into either format. It apparently even works if you mix different languages in your day-to-day speech. Other tech companies like Google have also released similar AI translation models in recent months. But Meta says Seamless M4T is the first one that's all-in-one for many languages and different kinds of translations. Call it Messi Mania. Soccer legend Lionel Messi has wasted no time shattering records here in the U.S., bringing a lot more attention to American soccer. He just started playing in the MLS this summer, and he's already helped his new team, Inter Miami, win their first trophy in club history, which is especially impressive considering they finished last season with the worst record in the MLS. And that win, that wouldn't have been possible without Messi's goals, also gave him his 44th trophy and made him the most decorated soccer player of all time. So how is all of this impacting the league as a whole? Well, resale tickets for late-season MLS games have surged by more than 1,700% as compared to last year. Subscriptions to MLS Season Pass have more than doubled since Messi joined Inter Miami last month. Messi's Inter Miami jersey was also the top-selling jersey across all sports over the past month. And the Instagram account for Inter Miami now has 14.3 million followers. That's more than any other team in the MLS, NFL, NHL, or MLB. So this might be why he got such an unprecedented deal when he decided to come to the U.S. Sportico says his 2.5-year agreement with the MLS is worth up to $150 million. That's it for the main news today. So now it's time for Work Wednesday, when we break down one interesting career or work-related news story every Wednesday. But first, this podcast is sponsored by AG1. The nutritional drink AG1 has become part of my morning routine. I first gave AG1 a try because we were talking about partnering and I wanted to make sure I actually liked it. Well, I now take AG1 every day before I eat anything else, and I was surprised how quickly I started noticing a difference. It makes me feel ready to take on the day. I feel a boost in energy. I find myself not reaching for coffee or tea quite as often. And if you're not familiar, AG1 can replace a lot of other supplements like a daily multivitamin, minerals, pre- and probiotics for gut health, adaptogens, and a greens blend. And you get it all in just one scoop of powder. I always put ice water with a splash of lemon juice, mix, and I'm all set. AG1 is made from 75 of the highest quality whole food sourced ingredients from around the world, intentionally curated for their ability to nourish all of the body's systems in harmony. So if you are looking for a simpler, effective investment for your health, try AG1 and get 5 free AG1 travel packs and a free 1-year supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/newsworthy. That's drinkag1.com/newsworthy. Check it out. Okay, now back to Work Wednesday. So how much does it take for the average American worker to accept a new job? The latest data shows the annual salary amount expected has reached a record high of at least $78,000 a year. Specifically, the latest New York Federal Reserve Employment Survey puts the minimum figure at $78,645. And that's up about 8% from just a year ago and is more than 22% higher than it was a few years ago just before the pandemic began. It's also worth noting that men expect quite a bit more in their job offers than women, about $25,000 more, even though the pay expectations did grow for women about twice as fast as they did for men. Overall, employers have noticed this sort of thing. They've been pushing wages higher and higher, with the average full-time offer up to more than $69,000. So yes, that's not quite to the new expectations, but it is still a 14% surge in the past year. Of course, that's largely due to the tight labor market during the pandemic, giving workers more power, though we are starting to see some of that loosen now. A quick note today before we go, that it's my birthday. And I only mention it because it would be the best gift and just make my day if you could tell someone or a few people about why they should listen to The Newsworthy. Text a link, post a link, talk about it. Word of mouth is the best way for us to be able to grow this community and be able to continue this work. So thank you so much in advance. And of course, thank you to all of our Newsworthy insiders for your support. If you aren't one yet, you can support our work and get ad-free episodes for just $5 a month. Sign up for your 7-day free trial at thenewsworthy.com/insider. And finally, if you're a little curious how old I am today, well, I'll be sharing that in our weekly roundup email that comes out this Friday. So join us over there for some fun. Sign up at thenewsworthy.com/email. Thank you again for all of your support of the show and our team. My birthday always makes me feel so grateful for the people in my life, and that does include you listening. All right, we'll catch you up on more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.